So welcome. And for those of you who are alumni, welcome back to Eastern Connecticut State University and the 28th Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I am Scott Smith, Chair of the Hall of Fame Committee, thanking you for taking the time to join us as we celebrate the rich history of the Eastern Connecticut Athletics program by recognizing our alumni and supporters who have performed, achieved, and had a tremendous impact on our programs during their collegiate careers. I would like to thank the members of the university's administration, the Division of Student Affairs, Institutional Advancement, and the Alumni Association for their continuing support of our Hall of Fame, which allows us to have this special celebration each fall. Prior to the introduction of this year's honorees, I would like to recognize those members of the Hall of Fame and our past award recipients who are in attendance with us this evening. When announced, I ask each individual to please come line up in front of the stage. Please join me in welcoming back Michael Atkind Exceptional Service Award recipient, Dean Cinto. And Eastern Hall of Fame members, Allison Coleman, Scott Serwinski, Mo Deegan, John Fitzgerald, Bill Holowati, Chris Mock, Darcy Mund Lucas, Julia Nielsen Kupchak, David Nicholson, Ron Pires, Len Reed, Beth Regan, Joe Surface, Dan Swachenko, Cynthia Washburn, and Dr. David Yo. And now to formally introduce today's honorees. First, our 2022 Little East Conference Hall of Fame inductees. We ask them to step forward to be recognized. 2022 LEC Hall of Famer Mo Deegan. 2022 LEC Hall of Fame team inductee, the 2002 National Championship Baseball team. And finally, introducing the 6 honorees of the 2022 Eastern Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame. First, the family members of this year's Michael A. Atkind Exceptional Service Award recipient, Jean-Pierre Godbout, his wife, Deborah, daughter, Nicole, and son, Jason. Our first Eastern Hall of Fame inductee, being presented by his brother and former teammate, Eastern Hall of Famer Scott Serwinski, Adam R. Serwinski. Our next inductee's presenter, Tristan Hobbs, could not be with us this evening due to a work obligation. So our second Eastern inductee, being presented this evening by his former teammate, Jim Schultz, Sean M. Gilblair. Our third Eastern inductee, being presented by Eastern women's basketball coach Denise Beerley, Sandy A. Mosley Scavello. Our fourth Eastern inductee, being presented by Eastern men's basketball coach Bill Geithner, Nicholas P. Nedwick. And our fifth Eastern inductee, being presented by her father, Howard Neff, Pamela Neff Schreibman. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the members of the Hall of Fame and tonight's honorees. At this time, I invite Father Larry Lapointe to please come forward for the invocation.
It's always a great honor to be here for the induction ceremony for the Athletic Hall of Fame. And to be in the presence of especially the lineup of those who have already been inducted. The reason I think that Eastern is so successful in so many ways is the fact that it doesn't forget the past, but brings the best of the past forward into the future. Our young athletes of today and the ones that will be coming tomorrow have a strong legacy on which to build their own athletic dreams and aspirations. Teamwork is at the core of it all. Great coaching, unique and well-trained athletic skills, and a spirit of honor that accompanies the striving that is a part of athletic competition of every kind. So recognizing the fact that we are here tonight representing many different religious traditions and philosophical perspectives, we pause for a moment of silent reflection, looking back to the past, remembering those who have played an important part in our lives, asking favors for those who are yet to come, and rejoicing, filling our hearts with gratitude for those who are honored in a special way this evening. Amen.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of President Nunez and Interim Vice President of Student Affairs, Michelle Delaney, I'm happy to welcome all of you to one of the largest gatherings of Eastern alumni that we have each year. The Eastern Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame is such a special event. It's also a first-class event, thanks to the hard work, dedication, and commitment of Smitty and the entire Hall of Fame committee. I would like for the committee to stand so that we could give you a warm and appreciative round of applause. Thank you again for taking care of all the arrangements that make this night so special year after year. I want to offer my congratulations to each member of the outstanding induction class of 2022 and all of the award recipients who will be recognized tonight. I think I may dare speak for everyone here and say that we are so incredibly proud of you and all that you've accomplished, not only in your years as Eastern student athletes, but in your personal lives and professional careers as well. I also wish to extend greetings to all of the teammates, classmates, family members, coaches, trainers, athletic staff, both past and present, and our current student athletes who are celebrating with you tonight. We are thrilled to have all of you here, though this evening I would like to direct my remarks specifically to our student athlete alumni. Each day, I am personally reminded of the power of intercollegiate athletics to transform lives. As former student athletes, you are living examples of that transformation. But think about it for a moment. Not only have your lives been transformed, but also those of your partners, wives, husbands, the lives of your children, the lives of your work colleagues, the people you supervise, and on and on and on. Every life you touch. But let's be clear about one very important point. It's not groundbreaking to say that the college experience is transformative for most students. It is. Nor is it groundbreaking to say that the college experience is transformative for most student athletes. It is. But here's the difference. I say that it's your experience as an Eastern student athlete that has shaped your life in ways that no one on the outside could ever imagine or understand. The Eastern family of administrators, coaches, trainers, equipment managers, facilities and event staff, sports information, student development professionals have shaped your lives in ways that no one can imagine. Add to them the professors, academic advisors, cafeteria workers, housekeepers, library staff, RAs, hall directors, and other administrators with whom you have dealt with over the years. Like those folks like the bursar. They have also shaped your lives in ways that you may not even remember. And finally, your teammates, assistant coaches, managers, scorers, and the alumni who came before you and who cheered you on from the stands. Countless individuals, all there for you, all in for you. Some of them are sitting with you tonight. Others have names long forgotten with the passage of time, and some live on only in your memory and in your heart. They are the people who together gave you that special experience of being an Eastern student athlete. Honor all of them by extending their legacy to the next generation of men and women who come to Eastern to learn, thrive, grow, compete, and win. And how, you may ask? Well, here's some ideas. Help your business create internships for our students that give them an edge in the job market. Encourage your company to recruit and hire our students when they graduate. Make a monthly gift on your credit card so your sport has that much more to work with when the coach is planning the next holiday tournament or spring break trip. And if you're not in a position to make a monthly gift to your sport, make a one-time gift during Eastern's 6th annual AD Challenge and help your sport claim a share of $5,000 of bonus money as one of 3 teams with the highest percentage of student-athlete alumni gifts. The AD Challenge begins at midnight on Thursday, November 10th, and continues until midnight on November 14th. The student-athlete experience, the Eastern student-athlete experience will continue to flourish and will continue to transform lives in that very special, unique Eastern way. As long as we believe in it, and as long as we support it with our actions and with our philanthropy, because that's what strong families do. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for all you do to support Eastern and Eastern athletics, and for celebrating the accomplishments of some very special members of our Eastern family. Congratulations again to our inductees and to all our award recipients, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Mr. Stenko. In an effort to provide insight and perspective regarding the history of the athletics program, the Hall of Fame Committee, with the support of Institutional Advancement, began asking each head coach to select a student athlete to represent their team here at the induction ceremony. We are very pleased to be able to do this once again, and want to recognize the student athletes who were selected to represent their teams here this evening. The golf and volleyball teams are both on the road this afternoon, so those two programs will not have a representative here this evening. When their name is called, they can simply stand up, and please remain standing until all the student athletes have been introduced. Representing baseball, Noah Plantamuro. Men's basketball, Thomas Close. Women's basketball, Jacqueline Santella and Emily Jamel. Men's cross country and track and field, Thomas Stone. Women's cross country and track and field, Elizabeth Rodell. Field hockey, Caitlin Miller. Men's lacrosse, Andrew Golden and Dominic Scarano. Women's lacrosse, Catherine Campbell. Men's soccer, Josh Bouchard and Walter Scudder. Women's soccer, Carmen Nieves. Softball, Julia Sangiovanni. Men's swimming, Ben D'Addario. And representing women's swimming, Nancy Scanlon. A hand, please, for all of our student athlete team representatives. We will now begin the awards portion of our program with the recognition of our Little East Conference Hall of Fame inductees. Joining us on behalf of the Little East Conference is the Associate Commissioner of the Little East Conference, Daryl Kanicki.
Thank you, Scott. First, want to extend a thank you to everyone in Eastern Connecticut for inviting me to be here this evening to join you in honoring your own Hall of Fame inductees, as well as a pair of Little East Conference Hall of Fame inductions as well. I always love coming here to Eastern Connecticut. I truly do. It is absolutely a family atmosphere here. You feel it as soon as you step foot on the campus and start interacting with the administrators, the coaches. Just want to give a quick shout out to thank each and every one of them, from Lori Runksmeyer down to the assistant ADs, the coaches, athletic trainers, sports info staff, everyone who supports the probably 400 or so current Eastern student athletes and everything they do on and off the field. There's been a lot of great things happening here for quite a while now, as Eastern has consistently won the Commissioner's Cup, and it seems like just about every other year wins our President's Cup as well, in recognition of their athletic and academic endeavors. So again, thank you for everything that you do. Just a little bit of info on the Little East Conference for those of you who don't know. We were founded in 1986 as just a men's and women's basketball league, and since then have grown tremendously to now offer 21 championships to somewhere around 4,000 athletes each year. Over the decades, we have seen tens of thousands of student athletes, compete under the LEC banner. And up until this year, including this year's class, only 104 individuals and 3 teams have been inducted into the Little East Conference Hall of Fame. when you think about those numbers, I think it really helps put in perspective the true, elite status of those that we honor, with this and have done since 2012. So again, just want to, thank you for allowing me to be here today as we congratulate Mo Deegan and the baseball national championship team from 2002. And, who knows, for tonight's inductees, I may be back here, congratulating you once again on your LEC Hall of Fame induction. So thank you and enjoy the evening.
Beginning in 2019, the conference decided to allow each member institution to honor its LEC Hall of Famers on campus in their own way. So it was an easy decision for us to recognize our honorees here during our regular Hall of Fame ceremony. So let's get to it. Our first 2022 LEC Hall of Fame inductee was a two-sport standout for Coach Kathy Raley's field hockey and women's lacrosse programs from 2001 to 2005. In field hockey, her career numbers set the program standard for over a decade, and she still holds the career record with 21 assists and is second in points, game-winning goals, games played, and games started. From 2001 to 2004, she was named to the all-conference team all 4 years, 3 times as a first-teamer, and was also a 2-time All-New England West Region team selection, who was also chosen to play in the NFHCA North-South Senior All-Star Game. In lacrosse, she was named to the all-conference team all 4 years, 3 times as a first-teamer. As a senior captain in 2005, she led Eastern to its first ever LEC tournament title and first NCAA tournament appearance. Following that season, in which she led the country with 116 points and was second with 47 assists, she was named first team All-ECAC, first team All-New England Region, and a second team Inside Lacrosse Division III All-American, who was also selected to play in the IWLCA Farewell Lacrosse Festival. She still holds the lacrosse program's career records of 243 goals, 136 assists, 379 points, 526 shots, and 76 free position goals, all in only 71 games. One of the most decorated multi-sport female athletes in Eastern history, 2014 Eastern Hall of Famer, and 2022 LEC Hall of Famer, Maureen Mo Deegan.
That's true. First, I would like to congratulate the other Hall of Fame inductees. Very impressive careers. Thank you to all the Hall of Fame committee and to the Little East for this honor and night. Just a couple extra thank yous to a few people I couldn't have done this without. I like to call them the triple threat. It's Smitty, Bullet, and Doc Yo. Yeah. My coach, Coach Raley, as Smitty mentioned, my teammates, my parents, my sister Erin, her husband Anthony, and my husband Mark for coming tonight. Eastern is a special place, and the Little East is a really fun little conference. A few months ago, I had my son, and to share this with him when he gets older, we'll definitely be back. I think we can all agree in this room that there's nothing little about the Little East. Thank you again.
Next, we will be honoring the second Eastern team to be selected for induction into the Little East Conference Hall of Fame. In the spring of 2002, after winning their 5th consecutive LEC regular season title with a 12-2 conference record and having 5 players earn all conference honors, including first teamers Eugene Julian, Tommy Spirito, and John Kabachka, who was also named LEC Player of the Year and a second-team ABCA All-American, the Eastern baseball team promptly was swept out of the conference tournament on its own home field. Fortunately, the Warriors were given an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament and headed to Harwich, Massachusetts and the New England Regional Tournament. After losing to Wheaton College 7-4 in the winner's bracket final, Eastern fought its way back, defeating Tufts and then Wheaton twice on the final day of the tournament to claim their 8th regional title and advance to the College World Series in Appleton, Wisconsin. In Appleton, a winner-take-all championship final game against longtime NCAA tournament rival Marietta College, the Warriors scored 8 runs and Hall of Fame pitcher Joe Surface threw a complete game 5-hit shutout to bring home the program's 4th national championship under LEC and Eastern Hall of Fame head coach Bill Holowati. We are proud to honor the 2022 Little East Conference Hall of Fame team inductee, the 2002 National Championship baseball team. Representing the team this evening are soon-to-be Eastern Hall of Fame pitcher Adam Serwinski, pitcher Steve Libera, infielder Jason Peckrell, infielder Justin Waz, Eastern Hall of Fame pitcher Joe Surface, Hall of Fame assistant coach Len Reed, assistant coach Scott Smith, LEC and Eastern Hall of Fame head coach Bill Holowati. Dwight Wildman could not be with us today, but he sent along the following comments, which the team has asked me to read. Remember, most of this is Dwight. First, we would like to thank Eastern for putting together another great event to honor our former athletes, and we would also like to thank the Little East Conference for selecting our 2002 team for this outstanding honor. We would like to thank Coach Holowati, Coach Reed, and Smitty for their leadership, guidance, and friendship you have provided to all of our entire team throughout all of our time here at Eastern and since then, not just in 2002. The run to the title started the day we lost to Southern Maine in the 2001 regionals. That loss stunned all of us, to say the least. We knew we were a better team. We could tell from the time we got back to campus that fall and started practicing, everyone had come back more determined and focused, and it was obvious to all of us that everyone had improved over the summer. We knew we were going to be contending for the title again. Although we lost some great players from 2001's team, we knew we had the talent to make up for it. The coaching staff always communicated so everyone knew their role from the start of the fall season, from the bench players to our captains. The leadership of captains Jared Holowati and Donaki Ormachea and the rest of the seniors set the tone and mentality for the team. A zero nonsense, we are going to get it done this year mentality. As the spring season progressed, the team began to gel. It seemed like we got to a point where Coach Holowati just had to post a lineup and let us go out and just play. We had become a cohesive team. Getting eliminated in 2 straight games in the LEC tournament was shocking to all of us. No one could wrap their heads around the fact that our season was probably over. Everyone was stunned. Our captains never let us believe our season was over. Jared Holowati then went on to give the most emotional and best speeches in my 4 years I was here. I can't repeat what was said, but along the lines of, we're getting an at-large bid and winning the whole damn thing. Once our at-large bid was announced, we had to scratch and claw our way through the regionals, beating Wheaton twice on the final day while their fans were making plans to go to Appleton was really sweet. In Appleton, every game of the World Series was a battle and decided by 1 or 2 runs until the national championship game. Once we got to that winner-take-all championship game, I remember this sense of calm with the team. We knew we were supposed to be there in that moment, and we already knew what the outcome would be. Joe Surface throws the game of a lifetime. We shut out Marietta 8-0. Once that last out was made, it was a combination of excitement and relief that we accomplished the only goal that matters as a team, winning a championship. On behalf of the 2002 team, thank you again for this great honor. Success, champions, excellence, tradition. These are a few of the words that have come to define the athletic program here at Eastern Connecticut State University. To honor that excellence, the Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame was established in 1986 to recognize the achievements and contributions of the dedicated athletes, coaches, and administrators who have made a profound impact on the athletic program here at Eastern. Including today, the Hall of Fame committee has had the privilege of honoring 207 individuals by way of the Pioneer Award, Atkind Exceptional Service Award, or with our highest honor, induction into the Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame. The next time you are in the Sports Center, please be sure to visit the Hall of Fame room, which is located just a few steps off the main lobby. Permanently displayed on the walls of the Hall of Fame room are individual picture plaques representing all 153 Hall of Famers, as well as 2 perpetual plaques listing the names of all 26 Pioneer Award and 28 Atkind Exceptional Service Award recipients. There is also a virtual kiosk which allows direct access to the full Hall of Fame website. This room serves as a reminder of the proud history and tradition of Eastern athletics, a tradition created by the legacy of those individuals who have their names and pictures on those walls. Let us begin to celebrate that history and tradition by presenting our Hall of Fame awards. One of the most important components that have gone into creating the tradition of excellence within the Eastern Athletic Program has been the people who have given their time and talents in ways that may go unnoticed to the casual observer. These are the individuals who consistently went above and beyond in their effort to provide support, knowledge, and the all-important "I'll do whatever you need" work ethic, which is essential to build and maintain a successful athletic program. To honor these individuals, the Hall of Fame committee established the Michael A. Atkind Exceptional Service Award, which by definition is presented to an individual demonstrating a standard of loyalty and commitment to the Eastern Connecticut Athletic Program as exemplified by Michael Atkind. Michael was a longtime university volunteer who assisted with numerous department events, E-Club, Booster Club projects, and with supervision and care of baseball's old alumni field until his untimely passing on August 7th, 1991. Here to formally present this year's Atkind Award, please welcome Eastern Hall of Famer, Dr. David Yo.
Jean-Pierre Godbout arrived on the Eastern Campus in 1985, 1 year before I came, which means I worked with him, next to him, for 25 years. He came as a carpenter and went on to provide nearly 30 years of service to the university. He retired in 2014 as Facilities Department Maintenance Supervisor, and he very unfortunately passed away on November 12, 2019, after a brief battle with ALS. JP was a tremendous supporter of all things that are Eastern. He lent his time and talents to many different projects, meticulously caring for even the smallest detail. He often provided the knowledge and insight to assist with the planning for many of the more recently built campus facilities, overseeing numerous renovations and retrofits to already existing facilities, all done in a very unselfish and professional way to make things better for others. For those of us in the Department of Athletics, JP was the key person, just a phone call away. Whether something was broken or didn't work properly, call JP. He repairs the soccer kickboard, repairing the roof on dugouts, outfield fence, Geisler gymnasium floorboards, helmet racks, shelving, vial cabinets. He designed the original Hall of Fame plaque showcase and trophy case. I don't think there's an athletic facility on campus that you can pass by or into and not think of Jean-Pierre. The most obvious one is if you go in the gymnasium, he had to build the protective screening over the scoreboard so the Coach Holowati's baseball players wouldn't break the bulbs with their baseball bats. How he did things is the key. Always greeting you with a smile, very kind, very gentle, very understanding. All you could do is just depend on him. A good friend, laughed easily, no matter the time of day, no matter the situation or the issue. JP would always go out of his way and go above and beyond what was expected to get the job done. I played tennis with him for many years and saw him in the very early stages of ALS on the court, lifting up the spirits, and there are 3 of us who played tennis with him here today to honor him. Always fun to play with him. I wish you could have known JP. He was very special. He was an exceptional worker, and we miss him very dearly. On behalf of the Hall of Fame Committee, it's my honor to present the 2022 Michael Atkind Exceptional Service Award to Jean-Pierre Godbout and his mother, his wife, his daughter, and 4 members of the media family who came today from Quebec to help honor him. And Francois, a sister, I wrote this down. You said this about an hour ago. We were talking about Jean-Pierre. And you said, we just can't get him out of our system. And that's for all of us who knew him. I wish you had known him. Accepting the award on Jean-Pierre's behalf are his wife, Deborah, daughter, Nicole, and his son, Jason.
I said I wasn't going to cry. And here I am. Good evening. My family and I would like to thank the whole ECSU community for this award. My dad worked at Eastern for over 30 years as a carpenter, retiring as a maintenance supervisor. Eastern was not only a place where my father could proudly perform his talents, but build relationships with students, coaches, faculty, coworkers, and administrators. My father was proud to play a small role in the large growth he witnessed during his time starting from a smaller, almost community-like college to the outstanding university that it is today. One of my father's closest and dearest friends, Dr. Bob Jeanette, had this to say about my father. Pierre was a very kind and giving soul. He never gave it a second thought to help me out at Eastern when something needed to be done, repaired, or built. He was one of the most reliable and trustworthy people I had the pleasure of working with at Eastern. Someone you could always count on, especially in situations that involved the health of the students. I will always be grateful for and remember many experiences at Eastern, in particular those that Pierre was a part of. I hold a special place in memory for him and the time spent with him at the university. Once again, on behalf of my father and all of his family, thank you.
Thank you very much to the Godbout family. I know Jean-Pierre is somewhere smiling and shaking his head over receiving this award, but there is no doubt the recognition is more than well deserved. He bailed me out of a lot of problems. And now, the presentations for the 28th induction class of the Eastern Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame induction is the highest honor an institution may bestow upon any individual, and we are very pleased to be able to add 5 extremely worthy names to our Hall of Fame roster this evening. Each inductee will have a video presentation, after which they will be called to the podium to offer remarks while accompanied by their presenter. Let's get things started with our first video presentation.
Adam R. Sawinski was a key pitcher on the 2002 NCAA National Championship baseball team, overcoming an arm injury to reach the 20-win milestone in his career. Nearly 20 years after leaving the program, Adam still shares the program record with 44 career starts and remains in the top 10 all-time in innings and strikeouts. One season after a redshirt year, Adam led the national championship team in starts and was second on the staff in wins and innings. In the national tournament semifinals that year, the Summers native pitched into the 8th inning of a 4-2 win over Marietta College, allowing only 1 earned run and lifting the Warriors into the national championship round. The right-hander appeared in 48 games in his career and ranks in a tie for 9th all-time with 21 wins. He was a key pitcher on back-to-back NCAA regional championship teams, winning 15 games with 5 complete games and averaging nearly 7 innings of work in each of his 25 starts in those 2 seasons. In Adams' 4 healthy seasons, Eastern won or shared the Little East regular season title each year, and the Warriors won the LEC Tournament Championship twice in his 5-year career.
Good evening, my name is Scott Sawinski, and I have the distinct pleasure of speaking on behalf of Adam Sawinski and his outstanding career at Eastern Connecticut State University. While I can sit here and rattle off individual statistics and accomplishments from a Hall of Fame career, such as career wins, innings pitched, career starts, being a national champion, the list goes on. It was Adam's unselfish and competitive attitude that set him apart from so many others. Growing up in a small town, Adam always had a chip on his shoulder, always wanting to prove that he belonged and could compete with anyone. During his 4 years at Eastern, he not only showed he belonged, he was an immediate impact pitcher from day one. This competitive mindset turned him into one of the best and most consistent pitchers during his career at Eastern. While many of his teammates and coaches can recall his obsessive pre- and post-game rituals, it was that laser focus that helped make him one of the most consistent and dominant weapons for Coach Holowati. As Coach always said, every time he handed the ball to Adam, he knew he was going to get a bulldog effort. My final season at Eastern, I had the chance to call Adam my teammate for the very first time, and to this day, it remains the best memory from my baseball playing career. Growing up always being compared to your older brother is extremely difficult. People always say things like, you're the second to win a national championship, you're the second to join the 20-win club, you're the second to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And make no mistake about it, I will continue to remind him of this every single day. Having said all that, tonight I humbly take a step back and hand you the game ball as the #1 pitcher and let you know how proud you have made our entire family and your older brother. Congratulations on this great accomplishment.
The biggest thing in the recruitment of Adam Serwinski was the fact that Scott was here. They were competitive growing up. It was one of those things that, I think Adam was always the younger brother who wanted to do whatever his older brother did and do it better. Adam saw that we had a really competitive program. Knowing the competitive nature of our program and winning the national title in 1998 with his brother, I think he saw the opportunity he would have to try to do it himself. And I think that kind of sold itself, and that's why he ended up here.
Adam was the ultimate competitor. He was a gamer. He was a bulldog. He always wanted the baseball. We knew that Adam Serwinski would always give us a chance to win the game.
Adam Serwinski is a great competitor. Just like his brother Scott, he took right after him. He was always competitive, I think, with his brother growing up. And his competitiveness as an athlete and as a pitcher is at the top of the charts. He prepared himself all the time for his pitching outings. He was meticulous in how he prepared. He was focused. He always had 3 pitches that were working, so he's an outstanding starting pitcher for us.
Adam was a good pitcher and a quality pitcher because he had the ability to attack hitters. His go-to pitch was a changeup, and it was a plus changeup for sure. He was not hesitant to throw his changeup in any count, in any situation, to any hitter. It was definitely his out pitch, and it was devastating. He can set guys up with his heavy fastball, and he also had a breaking ball to go with it. He was a great teammate. He was a leader for us, especially with some of our young pitchers, including myself. He was like a mentor for me, specifically like a big brother, kind of showed me the Eastern way, and we kind of clicked from the get-go.
Adam was extremely meticulous in how he prepared for baseball games. His preparation would start probably the day before he was going to start. He was a typical starting pitcher who liked to have things just so.
Again, Adam was unique, especially as a roommate and friend off the baseball field. Specifically, I can remember and recall my days with Adam as a roommate, him being OCD, for those that didn't know him well. When it would come time to leave the dorm room or our apartment, even after being fully dressed and ready to go, whether it was out for the night, to class, or to practice, it would still take us a good half hour or hour to actually walk out of the door because he had an obsession with tying his shoes. It took him a good, 15 minutes for the laces to be just perfect.
And having him as a 2 or a 3 pitcher in a tournament was huge because, like I said, he was almost like a number 1 pitcher. He could dominate, he would prepare throughout the tournament, and the 3rd or 4th game of a tournament, especially an 8-team double elimination tournament, is usually the most important game of the tournament. And to have someone like Adam Serwinski on the mound during those games, someone who you knew what you were going to get, he was going to go out and give you 7 or 8 innings and a chance to win the ball game. I mean, that's as big as it gets.
He pitched, in my opinion, the biggest game of the 2002 World Series when he beat Marietta to guarantee us a spot in the national championship. He was phenomenal that game. Again, he went out there and he gave our team a chance to win, but he was lights out against a very good lineup, had all three pitches going. Again, that was a huge win, and we definitely would not have won the national championship if it was not for Adam Serwinski's performance against Marietta.
At this time, it's my pleasure to present as a 2022 inductee into the Eastern Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame, Adam R. Serwinski.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Fame inductee Adam Serwinski and his presenter, Hall of Famer Scott Serwinski.
Hold on, I need to tie my shoes. Hold on. I'm telling you, it's the key to success. I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this tremendous honor, the university, and to congratulate the other four well-deserving honorees this evening. I would also like to congratulate this year's past baseball program, who brought us our 5th national title back home to Eastern. Back on top where we belong. I'd also like to recognize two individuals, Scott Smith and Bob Malta, Smitty and Bullet. The dedication of these two men to Eastern Athletics, the Hall of Fame, the university, and the student athletes over the years is simply remarkable. They deserve to be honored for their efforts. And as much as anybody in the room, I would certainly like to thank my teammates. Tonight is special because our 2002 championship team is being honored for our league Hall of Fame. To the members of that team and all of my teammates over my career, I say thank you. We share a special and unique bond and brotherhood. That 2002 members, we accomplished something amazing that will link us together forever. And nobody is recognized for something like this tonight if you don't have players making great plays behind you in the field, pounding out clutch hits, all right, and putting the work in each and every day that my teammates did. And I hope that each and every one of my teammates feels a special part of this honor tonight. I played for the greatest coach in Division III history. There are so many things that coach has said over the years that have resonated with me, but there's always one that comes back to me every time. And he would have us gathered around, and he would say, "Ball players, enjoy your moments, because just like that, your time goes by." And how true that is in baseball, in our time in college, and in life. When you entered this program in Eastern under Coach Holowati, there was an expectation of what you would put in, how you would conduct yourself, and he held you to it. It was real-world preparation. Coach demanded and developed athletes that were accountable, hardworking, competitive, and disciplined. My freshman year, he called us all into his office individually, and he asked us to lay out your goals. And my number one goal, by far, was to win a national championship, which is not an easy thing. In high school, I played on many great teams, basketball and baseball, and we never got there. We never won a championship. When it came time to make a decision, my senior year, I had a tough one, with scholarships from Central and UMass on the table. But I can remember my parents saying, "Don't base your decision off of that." And I know that is because of their belief and their trust in Coach Holowati. One of our last conversations during my senior year was when he was heading off to Salem, Virginia with the 1998 team to compete in the World Series. And I said, Coach, if you win the national championship, I'm coming to Eastern. Sure enough, they brought home championship number 3. And my big brother was the winner in game 1 and the championship game of that tournament. I kept my commitment, and I'm sure happy I did. None of these truly special experiences would have been possible without Coach Holowati, and I'm forever grateful for him. I would like to take a minute to speak directly to the administration. And what I have to say comes right from the heart, and I'm certain that I'm not the only one. Eastern has provided me with some of the greatest moments of my life. I'm proud to be an alum. In 2013, there was a parting of ways of a long-standing relationship. For a coach that dedicated 45 years to the university, who won more than 1,400 games, who brought 4 national titles to Willimantic, who was the National Coach of the Year 4 times, the Regional Coach of the Year 14 times, and whose family sacrificed for Eastern baseball, the players, and built a national powerhouse, and most importantly, for the countless men that were developed through the program and went on to be successful educators, businessmen, coaches, fathers, you name it. I respectfully call on you to move forward and do the right thing. Name that baseball complex in Mansfield after William P. Holowati. Lastly, there is nothing more important in life than family. I'm so very lucky to have so many wonderful friends and family. I have colleagues here today, my uncle, my cousin, so many family members here. To my 3 sisters, Beth, Amy, and Lynn, thank you. All right, I'm good. I got to tie the other shoe here. Hold on. Thank you for being such a great example growing up. They set the bar high. All right, they were all very good athletes in their own right, National Honor Society students. I got to tell you, it's tough when the teachers come up to your parents and they say, well, I've had your 3 daughters. They were lovely. Everything was going so well. And then I had your sons. What happened? I guess everybody has their own strengths, okay? To my brother, my best friend in life, who makes a day like this possible, the fact that we got to play a year together is incredibly special. The fact that we both share in something special like a national championship, and the fact that we both share in something extremely special like this, the Hall of Fame, is extremely amazing. So, thank you. And then I think back to 2002, where our team is gathered in this beautiful hotel in Wisconsin, getting ready to open World Series play, and we are laser focused. Coaches got us gathered around, talking in the lobby, and all of a sudden, the doors fly open, and there's these wild ladies that come screaming through the lobby, chants of "Let's go Eastern" and jerseys on and faces painted, and I kid you not, nobody even saw a face. And my good friend Joey Surface and roommate turns to me and says, well, Karen has arrived. And at that point, I said to myself, she is crazy enough, she might marry me. And I'm thankful she did. We were blessed with 2 wonderful children. Yes, that is you, yes. And I thank you for all the support through the years and continued support. To my children, Brooke and Tyler, if you take anything away from tonight, I hope you realize that there are no shortcuts in life and you are not entitled to anything. If you want something in life, whatever your goals may be, you need to work for it and go get it. And most importantly, always know that I love you and I believe in you. To Carrie, I'm so thankful to have you with me tonight. Past 8 to 9 months have been incredibly special, and I look forward to many more memories in the future. And lastly, to my parents, who I owe everything. Now, I need to take a quick second here. You know, years ago, I was asked in an interview, who's your hero? Never been asked that before. But I quickly responded, my hero's my father. He went to work every day for 33 years, provided for all 5 of us kids and my mother. But beyond the countless hours, all of that, it was the countless hours of practice with us. He coached all of our teams. He never missed a game. And to this day, when I think about everything he did, I'm amazed and I don't know how he did it, being a father myself right now. And I'm so grateful. To my mother, who was the captain of the household, every single meal, never-ending laundry, tutoring, served on the Board of Education, and responsible for getting me out of bed every morning and off to school, which quite frankly is a remarkable feat in itself. I'm forever grateful. But she would always say one thing, you know, win or lose, I love you. And I hated hearing that. I hated hearing that when we lost because I hate losing more than anything in life. All right? But now that I'm 42 years old and I have 2 children, I'm a tad bit more mature, I've come to realize that there is nothing more important in life than those words. I thank you all, and I am truly honored. Thank you.
Sean M. Gilblair is perhaps the most accomplished two-way player in Eastern baseball history. The Windham native is not only its only 3-time first-team All-America, but is also the only Eastern player to be named Division III Player of the Year twice. With 236 career hits and 28 pitching victories, Sean is also the only player in program history with as many as 20 pitching wins and as many as 200 hits. He compiled a career batting average of .373 with 29 home runs and 194 RBI. With Sean, Eastern qualified for 4 NCAA tournaments and won the regional titles and 3 Little East tournament championships. The lefty-hitting first baseman in southpaw pitcher was a 4-time All-New England Region pick and 3-time ECAC New England All-Star pitcher, and was voted as the ECAC and the Little East Pitcher of the Year as a sophomore. Sean remains the only player in Little East history to be named LEC Tournament MVP more than once, having earned that honor 3 times. Despite being hampered by knee, shoulder, and elbow injuries throughout his career, Sean put the final touches on his Hall of Fame career as a senior co-captain when he led the Warriors to 39 wins and to the championship round of the NCAA New England Regionals.
Good evening. My name is Tristan Hobbs, class of 2009, and it's an honor for me to speak on behalf of Sean Gilblair. I would first like to start off by recognizing Sean's family. Sean's father, Daryl, and my dad would always share hitting tips. And while they cannot be with us, I know how proud his mom Barbara and brother Brian would be tonight. I was very excited when Sean, my teammate, classmate, and fellow senior co-captain, asked me to be a part of his induction. In addition to honoring Sean, it's allowed me to think about our college days that seemed like yesterday, but are nearly 15 years behind us. At the baseball holiday party our freshman year, Sean, in a heated moment, went on and on about how he's the best and that he's going to be an All-American. I thought to myself, I followed this program for a long time, and his fall season didn't really jump off the page. Well, I'll always remember that moment because it was the first time I witnessed what made Sean into one of the greatest baseball players in Eastern history. He had a swagger, an I'm gonna beat you attitude. Funny enough, his only loss in 9 decisions as a freshman pitcher came because he hit a game-tying home run before taking the mound at Laverne. You ask how? Trailing 3-2, he hit a game-tying home run in the 8th inning and then came on to pitch in a game that we eventually lost 4-3 on an unearned run later that game. But to play alongside Sean for 4 years was to witness something truly special. He was relentless. He was a bulldog. Whenever our team needed a big hit, Sean would roll one through the right side, somehow beating the shift. Needing a big strikeout, Sean would throw his devastating changeup and start his walk to the dugout before the ball got to home. There was one time, however, in the NCAA Regional our freshman year, that Sean didn't just roll one through the right side. Cortland State went to a lefty to face Sean, and he crushed the first pitch curveball deep over the right field wall for a grand slam. I'll never forget that bat flip. Sean respected the game. He lived to put on the Eastern uniform. He made everyone around him better, even when he struggled in Arizona and went, as Sean said, "Oh for Arizona." But one of the parts of our relationship I enjoyed the most was watching Sean grow as we went through our college careers. He worked his tail off, and it was an honor to serve as a co-captain with him our senior year. Back in those days, with a little guidance from student assistant coach Mark Mashad, we were the ones putting together the off-season workouts. Side-to-side shuffles in the racquetball courts, lifts, and hitting. Sean wanted to win more than anything in the world, and I was extremely lucky to be a part of it. A 2-time National Player of the Year and an All-American in each of his 3 fully healthy seasons, Sean Gil-Blair will go down as one of the greatest to ever put on an Eastern uniform, and I'm so proud to be part of his special evening. Congratulations, Sean.
My recollection of Sean was when he was in high school at Wyndham High School. Pretty good high school player. I saw this chubby kid. This kid that had a lot of athletic ability, chubby. I call him like the Pillsbury Doughboy. But he had ability, and I could see the competitiveness in him.
In high school, he was a very good player, always an all-conference player. Pitched for us, had so much savvy on the mound, and seemed so much more knowledgeable in baseball than the rest of the kids on the high school team.
In the summers here at Eastern, we always had rentals that would use our field, and there was a team from Poland coming in to play an exhibition game against some Legion players from Wyndham and Willimantic. And Coach Holowati called me because he knew I was supervising the game, and he asked me to check out this kid, Gil Blair, to see what kind of player he was and if he could play for us. And so I was at the game, watching the game, and watch infield, outfield, and Sean got up, batted third for them. He was playing first base, and could see from the first at-bat, I believe Sean got a double off the center field fence, and knew right away he could certainly play for us. He had great hands at first base, could move well. And then later in the game, he came in and pitched, and he was just lights out. He dominated the team for about 3 innings, and I called Coach Holowati after his second inning of pitching, and I said, Coach, this kid can play right away for us, probably bat third, and he can certainly pitch for us at the top of the rotation. He's going to be a great player.
I can recollect back then, a little bit out of shape, and he got challenged by the coach, head coach, that if you wanted to be the player that you wanted to be, you needed to get your body in shape. And Sean made that effort or that commitment to be the best player that he could be, both on the court and on the field and off the field.
If you would have told me he was going to be, two-time Division III Player of the Year when he was a senior in high school, yeah, I might have questioned that a little bit. But, due to his own hard work and effort, he made himself into the two-time Division III Player of the Year.
He had great talent. He had great pitches, and he could throw them all for strikes, and he could hit. I mean, the guy could pretty much do everything that you would ever want someone to do on a baseball field. But he also wanted to get to know his teammates, and he wanted to help them be better, because he realized, it's baseball. You can't go out there and do it all on your own.
The club knew that when Sean got the ball, we had a good chance of winning that game. I mean, he was just that kind of a leader on the bump. We felt good with him with the ball in his hands. Best pitcher in the league, without a doubt, during that period of time. Pitched big innings, was fearless on the mound, competitive on the mound, threw everything, had confidence, knew he was good, and had that attitude, hey, I'm here, come get me. And he'd say back, I'm coming to get you.
If he was playing first base, I didn't have to go out to the mound for a pitching visit with other players, because he would be already there, and I knew he knew what to tell him, and which guy needed a little fire lit under him and which guy needed to have a nice calming talk. So he was having a coach on the field. It was fantastic. So getting to know the guys and through his own work ethic too. I mean, he was an extremely hard worker, the hardest worker on the team.
At this time, it is my pleasure to present as a 2022 inductee into the Eastern Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame, Sean M. Gilblair.
Fame inductee Sean Gilblair and his presenter Jim Schultz.
My daughter Kalia just asked me, Daddy, they couldn't get any better pictures of you? There were none, Kalia. There were none, okay? And Smitty, there's got to be something going on with your computer, because they're cropping out all my chins. So, all right. Before I begin, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for everything they do. Scott Smith, Bob Malta, for not only the time and effort making this event so special, but for all they do behind the scenes for the university and athletics. It's the work these men put in that makes Eastern such a great environment for the students, athletes, staff, and coaches. Congratulations to all inductees here today. I had the opportunity to watch Sandy and Nick play. They were tremendous athletes and competitors, and this recognition is well-deserved. Adam, congrats on yet another ring. Jimmy Scholl, my friend, former teammate in 2011 National Player of the Year. Thank you for presenting on my behalf. I anticipate being here next year celebrating you. Growing up in Windham was an incredible blessing, as it put me around many great people and coaches. My Little League days playing at Windham Youth Organization, where men like my father, Mike and Gene Fisher, volunteered their time for years to teach young kids the game of baseball. Paul Noheimer, my JV coach at Windham High. What I learned from him was more than fundamentals, it was how to play the game the right way. My time with Noheimer was limited, but beneficial for my development. Coach had an old school, tough, blue-collar mentality and demanded focus from his players, an approach to the game that would serve me well for what was to come years later with the Eastern baseball program. Enter Bill Holowati into my life. Coach Holowati was a man who demanded your best in all areas of life. Someone who cared more about developing men rather than just ball players. It was about the person first and the player second. Coach Holowati was exactly the mentor I needed in a time where I needed it the most. Nobody played a bigger role in shaping me into the coach that I am today. Coach and Mrs. H made me feel like I was a part of the family, and that's what you become when you enter the Eastern baseball program. It's been over 10 years now since Coach and I put on the same uniform. I can still hear some of the messages he instilled in us each day. You are who you hang out with. Body language screams. It's not about baseball, it's about life after baseball. And the one that applied to me more so than anything: don't let short-term wants get in the way of long-term goals. Each one of these pertain to the game of baseball and life, and they've stuck with me long after my career has ended. As a coach to this day, I continue to reinforce his messages with my players in hopes that it might resonate with them the way they did with me. Coach, I'd like to thank you for teaching me what it means to compete on and off the field. I know it wasn't always easy developing a young kid who once thought he had it all figured out. Your legacy continues through your players, as so many of us have gone on into the coaching world reinforcing the philosophies taught by you. I was privileged to have loving parents who lived for their two sons. I could not have asked for a better childhood. They opened their home to all the kids in our neighborhood. We spent our youth playing baseball and football in our backyard, as well as basketball in our driveway. The backyard brawls, worn out base paths in the yard, broken siding and windows from throwing errors and foul balls. My parents embraced every second of it. They were selfless in every way imaginable, sacrificing so much to make sure we were better off and had more than what they had. As soon as my playing days began, my parents were involved in all facets, spending time volunteering at WIO, grooming the fields, working concessions, coaching and bookkeeping. They had their hands in all of it. The foundation of my playing days began with my dad at the WIO fields. Summer afternoons, after work, and weekends, we'd be there. Hitting, pitching, and defense. Never felt like practice. It was always fun, and it was great spending that time together. Those are some of the best memories. He made it a point to always keep the joy for the game in me. That's what drove my love and passion for the game of baseball. My dad didn't play in high school or college. He became a student of the game as an adult, as his boys had a love for it at a young age. It wasn't his plethora of knowledge that made him my greatest coach. It was quite simple. He gave me the only non-renewable resource a person has, and that was his time. He made sure to be there every single day. He was the most constant support I had in my career. He coached me through high school and never missed a game in college. He was right there with me and still is to this day. I could not have asked for a better father. Thank you, Dad. If Dad was my best coach, Mom was my greatest supporter and biggest fan. She didn't throw a single pitch of batting practice, hit any ground balls, or catch any bullpens, but played an equally important role in my life. She was the bookkeeper at every level. She kept video and pictures. She was the chef. She got all the stains out of the uniforms. You name it, she took care of it. That was her way of being there and showing unwavering support. My mom couldn't have been more invested in her boys' lives. She loved every minute of it. Mom, I'm so proud of all you accomplished. Starting your own daycare to stay home and be able to raise your boys, later earning your college degree, and becoming assistant to the dean of admissions at UConn. I always admired your endless pursuit to gain knowledge and further your education. Growth and development were a point of emphasis. It was inspirational to see you in action. You are the rock of our family, and I was so fortunate to grow up in a home filled with love, and all the credit goes to you. You've helped me in so many ways, too many times to count. I love being your son, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's only now, as a parent of two beautiful daughters, Kalia and Nora, do I begin to appreciate and understand all that my parents did. I aspire to reach the standard established by them with my own girls, applying the same approach by simply being there and always supporting them through whatever comes their way. Kalia and Nora, I am so proud and blessed to be your father, and I love you with all my heart. Few things are more rewarding than watching you grow up and begin your journey into athletics, as I know you'll learn so many of the invaluable lessons that sports have taught me. Kalia is 9 and has a competitive spirit like nothing I've ever seen. I don't have a clue as to where she got it from. She's the type of ball player that Coach Holowati built his program around. She has the warrior mentality. I have such gratitude to experience this moment with my girls tonight, if not for one reason. If they take anything from this evening, hopefully I've earned a little bit of credibility. And when I'm coaching them, they will listen and believe what I'm preaching. Yeah, probably not, right? What an honor and incredibly humbling experience it is to be selected into the Eastern Hall of Fame. I'm in great company, and that was certainly the case in my playing days. I had great teammates, great players all around, and the competitive culture brought the best out of all of us. Together, we have experiences that will last a lifetime, and I'm forever grateful for those moments. Coach Reed. A little chubby, right? Hey, not bad for a couple Wyndham Whippets, huh? It's been an honor and privilege to put the uniform on with Coach Reed, and it's an honor and privilege to put it on again with Coach Reed and compete with Coach Reed once again. You are a player's coach in the truest form. I'll finish with this. There's still a strong void that is yet to be filled. One thing has eluded me throughout my Eastern career and can never be filled through any personal accolades. That is a national championship. Coach Mike Odenwalder has entrusted me to come back home and lead the pitching staff. Odie, I thank you. With this second opportunity, I plan to make the most of it. Go Warriors.
Sandra A. Mosley Scavello is one of the only 2 players in Eastern women's basketball history with as many as 700 rebounds and 100 three-point field goals, which goes a long way in describing her versatility both as a perimeter threat and inside player. Sandy started 96 of the 116 games in which she appeared, returning as a 4-year starter after tearing her ACL after the 6th game of her freshman season. She was named to the Little East All-Conference team in which of those 4 full seasons, earning first-team honors 3 times. Including Sandy's injured first season, the Warriors posted 3 20-win seasons and qualified for 1 NCAA and 1 ECAC Division III tournament and reached the LEC Tournament Championship game twice. Sandy was named to the all-tournament team of the Eastern Tip-Off Tournament for 4 straight years, capped by her senior selection as tournament MVP when the team won the title. In her career, Sandy scored over 1,500 points, grabbed over 700 rebounds, and landed over 100 three-point field goals. She left the program ranked 2nd all-time in points and 6th in rebounds and three-point field goals.
It is my pleasure to be speaking on behalf of Sandy Mosley Scavello. I knew that Sandy was special when I recruited her from Omogo High School over 20 years ago. There was never a doubt in my mind that we needed Sandy at Eastern to advance our program. Sandy was getting heavily recruited to play Division II basketball, but something for her and her family just did not feel right. I will never forget her mom, Lori, reaching out to me, and that night I drove over to Goshen, Connecticut with 2 of our current seniors Kristen Grassi Leary, and Darcy Munn Lucas to convince her that Eastern would be the perfect fit for her. I am forever grateful to her and her family for making that decision to ultimately attend Eastern. Sandy was instrumental in maintaining the tradition of Eastern women's basketball at a regional level. Sandy worked very hard, was extremely coachable, was a pressure player, and was a winner in every sense of the word, which is evidenced by her current status as our third all-time leading scorer. The thing that stands out to me the most about Sandy is that she played with such heart, toughness, composure, and consistency. Her consistency was confirmed by her selection to the Lily East Conference team in each of her 4 seasons, 3 times as a first-teamer. Proof of Sandy's great versatility is the fact that, at the time of her graduation in 2007, she was one of only 2 players in program history ranked among the all-time top 10 in both rebounds and three-point field goals. Although Sandy suffered a serious knee injury in her first year, she stayed engaged with the team and worked behind the scenes to get herself back to an elite level and help the team advance to the national championship game that season. Sandy and I were a great fit from the start. She was one of the best forwards we have had here, and she made everyone around her better, including myself. And that is truly the ultimate compliment for any student athlete. Everyone on the team wanted to play with Sandy. We had so many fun times on and off the court during Sandy's career. Although we won many games, it was the relationships, connections, and lifelong friendships that were created that were special because of the team trips, bus rides, team dinners, and yes, practices that we all experienced together that made up so many wonderful memories. Sandy comes from a great family. Today is the time to celebrate Lori and Mark's daughter, and also for me to thank her family and friends for supporting her decision to attend Eastern those many years ago. Congratulations, Sandy. The entire program is proud of you. It was truly my honor to have been your coach and to see everything that you accomplished during your time at Eastern and beyond. All of your personal and professional success is much deserved.
When I think of Sandy, I instantly think of the best basketball player I had the privilege to play with. She was a great friend and just an amazing person.
I remember the first time seeing Sandy play as a senior with the program. I went with Coach Beerley and our other captain as well, and we saw her play at Goshen, and I remember sitting there. We were, right at the end line and watching her play, and we were so impressed by her athleticism and her rebounding, and we were just really looking forward to adding her to the program.
So Sandy and I got really close during my freshman year winter session when we had a lot of time to team bond, and she was just such a positive, happy person that we just really hit it off from the beginning. I always wanted to play with a person like her, and then getting to know her, she just was as amazing off the court that she was on the court, and our friendship meshed just like we did as teammates.
In the post player position, she was not super tall or, super strong looking, but she would get right in there on all the rebounds. She would battle against, one-on-one against some of our bigger post players. We were working on techniques and positions and stuff like that, and everything we talked about, she would try it in the next drill. If you put a post player on her, that was hard. If you put a guard on her, she'd turn around and play back-to-back and get the ball and make a quick move. So I think her versatility made her, a great player and hard to defend.
I think her versatility to play inside game and outside game, she could shoot the three. She was 5'10", so she had the height, which, you can't teach. But it definitely just made her a versatile player. She could rebound, push the ball. She really had all aspects of the game.
She was that rock on the team that, we could count on in a stressful situation. I think the girls looked to her. I think they wanted to play up to her level. I think that really encourage them to come out. If Sandy was still playing hard and Sandy was still, working through it, even if we were down, chipping away at those points, I think that kind of encouraged everybody else to really, play up to her level.
Sandy's demeanor on the court was very level-headed. She never really showed emotion. She just played hard. She played competitive. She wanted to win, and she always went out and gave the team exactly what we needed of her. I think because of Sandy's level-headedness when she played, that people might not have known the competitor she really was. But being so close with her, I knew how bad she wanted to win every single game. She practiced like she wanted to win, and then she'd go out and play like she wanted to win. And we won.
I think when you have an injury, I think that really shows the type of player that you are. I think you either come back, stronger, more in shape with that drive, and I think that's something that Sandy did. It was all on her to do the physical therapy and come back and keep her shooter's touch and keep all the agility that she had before. And I think she put the time and the energy into that.
So my freshman year, I didn't realize coming in that Sandy was injured. I just saw she wore a knee brace. I didn't know how devastating that injury was to her and the team. She just overlooked it and continued, to play basketball and succeeded. Again, besides the knee brace, I wouldn't have known that Sandy was injured. She had an amazing freshman year. She really is a special person, and she deserves this honor. So I'm proud of her.
At this time, it gives me great pleasure to present as a 2022 inductee into the Eastern Connecticut State University Alumni Hall of Fame, Sandy Mosley Scavello.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Fame inductee Sandy Mosley Scavello and her presenter, Denise Beerley. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Sean, I agree with you. I don't know where they get these pictures from. No, but it's such an honor to stand up here and be surrounded by friends and family and fellow inductees. First and foremost, thank you, Smitty, Bullet, Coach Beerley, Sarah, all my teammates in the back that I didn't know were here, so thank you for coming. You guys have worked really hard to put this together, so I'm very thankful for that. I also want to say thank you first to my mom and dad, who without them, I would not be up here. Being a parent myself to 3 amazing kids who are incredible athletes playing multiple sports makes me really appreciate more than ever the amount of time, sacrifice, joy, effort, money, even heartache at times that you gave. You ran me around state to state on the weekends, driving, flying, staying in hotels in hopes that one day I would be a collegiate athlete. And here I am, and even better hopes that I'd be in the Hall of Fame. So thank you. I would also like to thank my coaches, especially Coach Beerley. You're one of the best coaches I ever had, truly. You really knew the meaning of what a coach should be. You were the best coach I ever had. You motivated, supported, and pushed my limits. You always knew I could go that much further, score one more point, and get that one extra rebound, and be the one you always looked to lead the team on the floor. You never doubted me, even freshman year when I did tear my ACL. You were there to support me, guide me, and let me know it's okay, and I'd come back stronger than ever, and I did. You taught me lifelong lessons that I still carry with myself today in sports, work, and even against my competitive family of 5. So thank you for all of that. Which brings me to talk about my family that I have here. I have my husband Rob here with me, along with our 3 kids, Marky, Robbie, and Ari, which right now we're focused on football. We're mid-season, and they're doing so well. Marky, our 11-year-old, is one of the best linemen on the team, and Robbie, our high schooler, is a cornerback, both excelling and doing so wonderfully. And then we have Ari, who plays softball, and maybe will play here one day. But she is the best pitcher, catcher, and third baseman you'll ever see. But we are eagerly awaiting the start of basketball season, which we all love. My husband tends to be the most competitive when it comes to basketball. When we're playing one-on-one in the driveway, 2-on-2, or we have a group of friends over. Either way, he always reminds me about the one time when he was 15 years old that he scored 60 points in a high school basketball game. So we all let him have his moment. We all look at each other, rolling our eyes. And then we remind him that his wife's a Hall of Famer. But all joking aside, I'm very thankful for everyone who got me here and continues to support me. So thank you.
Nicholas P. Nedwick was an aggressive and physical basketball guard who made his mark at both ends of the floor, graduating as the program's all-time scoring leader, while also twice being named Little East Defensive Player of the Year. The Irvington, New York native led the Warriors to postseason tournaments 3 times and to their first Little East Tournament championship in 12 years as an all-New England senior. Nick led the Warriors in scoring in each of his final 3 years, scoring over 1,000 points in his final 2 years alone, en route to first-team All-Little East recognition each year. While Eastern struggled to reach 500 in the 10 years prior to Nick's arrival, the Warriors won 66% of their games in Nick's career, qualified for 2 ECAC New England tournaments, and reached their first NCAA tournament in 12 years. In a double overtime win over Keene State in the semifinals of the Little East tournament in his senior year, Nick had several key field goals and assists late in the game and in overtime, and Eastern went on to win the championship and later advanced to the NCAA Sweet 16. 10 years after leaving the program, Nick still ranks second all-time in points and among the all-time top 5 in 6 additional categories.
It is my pleasure to be speaking on behalf of Nick Nedwick. Nick can best be described as the ultimate competitor. He wanted to be challenged and pushed. He thrived in difficult situations. He embraced challenges. From day one, the coaching staff realized we had a special player in Nick. We also quickly realized we had our hands full. Nick's competitiveness occasionally led to a ball being randomly thrown or punted toward the bleachers. Nick continued to shine as our starting 2 guard for the next 3 years. As a junior and senior, he was selected Defensive Player of the Year in the Little East Conference. Offensively, Nick started to come into his own during his sophomore year. His energy and movement on the floor elevated the entire team's offensive play. To go along with Nick's competitiveness, he had an extremely high basketball IQ that would often allow him to get backdoor layups. Nick became a matchup problem for our opponents. He was a physical player who could score inside, drive the basketball, or shoot from the perimeter. Beyond the game, Nick's competitiveness was beginning to spread to the rest of the team. The energy and passion he brought to practice on a daily basis rubbed off onto the rest of the team. He made others want to play harder, to compete harder. During his sophomore and junior years, the team won 20-plus games, but Nick was not satisfied. During his senior season, Nick led us to the Little East Championship and a trip to the NCAA tournament. The year was filled with highlights. One very memorable moment occurred during the Little East tournament. We were the #1 seed and hosted Keene State in the semifinals. It was a tough game and we trailed most of the game. We were down 2 with under 10 seconds to go, and the ball found its way into Nick's hands. Nick drove the lane, and this is when the shot, or as Nick claims, the pass, occurred. Nick was cut off by defenders and miraculously found Chris Robitaille for a perfect pass for a layup to send the game into overtime. Nick then went on to send the game into a second overtime with a late 3-pointer. We won in 2 overtimes to punch our ticket to the NCAA tournament. That year, we advanced to the Sweet 16, where we lost to the eventual national runner-up Cabrini College. Even in defeat, Nick demonstrated his ultimate competitor status as he either scored or assisted on our last 25 points versus Cabrini. Joe Montana once said, When the game is over, I just want to look at myself in the mirror, win or lose, and know I gave it everything I had. Nick is the epitome of this quote, whether it was practice on an early Monday morning or the conference championship on a Saturday afternoon. Nick left everything he had on the court.
He was that teammate you knew when he showed up, it was all business, right? He wasn't necessarily a get in your face guy and chirp at you like if you weren't. It was more so you could just read it. It was like beaming off of him, right? This guy's ready to go to war. This guy's gonna play his heart out. He tore his meniscus 3 times, like on court. Didn't sub out or anything, just played through it. He was an absolute monster.
He really put it out there for us, in the time that we had him at Eastern. Whether it was his knee, his ankles that he was getting treated on, before practice, after practice, before games. He was a guy, he just put in the extra hours.
I'll never forget that moment walking into that first day of pickup. And I think, Nick was the one where it just made it real clear that this was serious, this was competitive, and it's not going to be an easy ride in terms of playing time.
On the court, he's going to be a guy that will motivate you, will keep you accountable, and off the court, he's a guy that if you get into a FIFA match with him, he might put you in a headlock midway through the game.
I think the competitiveness that especially Nick brought to practice definitely leveled us up in terms of when it would translate to a game. A lot of the times, it would start pushing, little chatter in between players of trash talk. But when we left the court on practice, we all knew we had gotten better for it. And I think Nick played a big role in that.
He really expected a lot from us. Even from when he was a younger guy, as a sophomore, I think he took on that leadership role because he was one of our best players, And a key part of that, being a leader is to be able to play both sides of the ball. And I think that's something that Nick took pride in.
You just knew he was ready to go by him being on both sides of the ball and playing his heart out. He was guarding their best player. He was scoring at will. He was an absolute bulldog.
Nick had kind of that all-around mentality, and I think it goes back to him just being an intense person where basically everything he does, he concentrates hard on. He wears his emotion, on his sleeve, and I think that's what made him a great player all around.
I was always guarding him in practice, so all those ducking over screens and backdoor cuts, you could end up really quickly being made an example of in practice. And I wasn't the type to let someone just embarrass me in practice. So I'm playing him hard defensively. He's going hard offensively. Nick only has one speed.
Nick's character, the way that he is on the court, he's a demon. He'll just drive the ball down your neck and, force people to foul him. And that was a big part of what I picked up from him, was being able to execute, getting to the line and working on those free throws. He was an excellent free throw shooter. I think he's still top 10, and I picked that up from him. I was able to score pretty much half of my 1,000 points from the free throw line.
When you think about the end of that Keene State game, it's the final seconds. He has the ball and kind of tosses it up to Chris for the win. That kind of just showed you, or showed us, I guess, how Nick had kind of grown as a player, having trust in his teammates, and giving that last shot to someone else with the kind of just hoping that we would get the win and nothing else mattered. All personal accolades aside, and that's what Nick really had, I think, towards the end of his career.
He just cared more, and that is, I think, one of the most exemplary qualities of him as a leader. He cared more, and he showed it.
At this time, it gives me great pleasure to present for induction into the Eastern Athletics Alumni Hall of Fame, Nicholas P. Nedwick.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Fame inductee Nicholas Nedwick and his presenter, Bill Geithner.
Thanks, Smitty. Hey, Sean, I agree with you. We got to fix these pictures. Like, me, I'm terrible. And where's Adam? Adam, I feel you with the OCD. Like, we're going to trade some stories after this. And also Geithner, that was a pass, okay? Thank you, Ham. All right, I want to give a huge congratulations to all the inductees. It's an honor to be inducted in this Hall of Fame with you all. Thank you to my family, girlfriend, friends, teammates, coaches, and all the Eastern staff who made the effort to be here today. I am so grateful to share this moment with you all. Especially, I'm from New York, so I have my family, my friends that drove all this way just to be here with me today, and it's truly special. To my family, my mom, dad, and sisters, Jenna and Jamie, thank you for giving me your continuous love, motivation, and encouragement throughout my career. I know that it was a lot to handle. By that video, I was pretty much a psychopath. Yeah, my teammates can attest to that, but thank you for everything. Jenna, you were always there to support me. When we were younger, you were a trooper coming to all my basketball games. Watch me throughout high school, college, and in Italy. Even when you went to Keene State and we were playing there, you sat in the Keene State fan section cheering for Eastern and myself. I almost got into a few altercations with the fans because of you, but you stayed there to cheer me on. Mom, happy birthday. Today's my mom's birthday. Even though it's your birthday, you made this day about me, but it's about you as well. You are my #1 fan. I could play the worst game of my life, but you would still greet me with a smile and tell me how well I did. You were the only person that could level me out in intense moments. You've always been there to give me advice, even if it was something I did not want to hear. I don't know what I would do without you. Jamie, my older sister, we were extremely close growing up, and you were like a second mother to me. You were the reason I came to Eastern. You've always guided me with your knowledge and advice that's led me where I am today. Through your tough love, and believe me, if you want the honest truth about something, you go find my older sister. You pushed me to be the best version of myself. You instilled a fight, drive, and don't take crap mentality in me that I still carry today. Thank you to my girlfriend Bianca for being here. We met after my career was over, which was probably better for our relationship. But I'm glad you're still here to experience this with me and see how much devotion, energy, and love I put into this sport. There's one person, Adam, I'm about to get like you. There's one person that I want to dedicate this award to, and that's my father, Phil. As I've gotten older, I realize all the sacrifices you made and support you given me through my athletic career. From soccer, football, or lacrosse, I seriously cannot remember you missing a game, especially basketball. From early, sorry, I also coach soccer, so that's why I lost my voice. From early years in youth leagues, middle and high school, AU, and then college, you attended every single game. Driving to UMass Boston, Southern Maine, here, it was a sacrifice that I didn't realize until I got older. You were that parent that would pick up and drop off my teammates that didn't have rides. You made sure me and my team were always hydrated with water, Gatorades, without even being asked. When I was hurt, you would stay in the hospital with me all hours of the night. I was very injury prone, and you could ask Doc. Doc, me and you became best friends in that training room. So you can imagine how often I was in the hospital. You never complained because you saw the joy it brought me to play this game. Dad, you would always get the brunt of my frustration after a loss or when I thought I played poorly. You always tried to stay positive until you just couldn't handle me anymore. Regardless of my outbursts, you showed up to the next game to watch me play. You were one of the most important people in my life, and I always strive to be the best to make you proud. If it wasn't for your love and dedication to my progress, I would not be standing up here today to receive such an honor. Now for my squad. When I reminisce on my 4 years at Eastern, I am flooded with unforgettable memories. My goal was to bring my competitive passion, competitiveness, passionate, and winner's mindset to the team. I always held myself and the team to a higher standard. I wanted the best for everybody. We saw the progress each year as the program improved. We did it as a unit, and it started with our coaches. I want to thank Coach Geithner, Wild, and KJ for always putting 100% effort into each season and preparing us every day. Guys, thank you for teaching me valuable lessons and pushing me to be my best. I know I gave you so many headaches throughout my career here, but the thing that separated you from different coaches is that you trusted me and you believed in me. Wild. Sorry, everyone. I'm good. No. It's small font. Wild, thank you for coming each and every day with a positive and dynamic energy. KJ, you were my captain and ended up being my coach. You taught me so much, including to never do a 360 layup on a wide open fast break. The way that you embraced me and the other freshmen as soon as we got on campus was inspiring. You included everyone on the basketball team. Through your actions, you always showed that your team is your family. And I carried that notion with me through my own coaching experiences. KJ, you were the glue for a lot of us. And I want to make sure that we continue to be a family and make you proud. As a team, we continue to exceed expectations each year because of the bond we fostered. We took care of one another, which translated on the court. It was a brotherhood. We could get into heated arguments, trash-talking fights. Tajman, who was on there, could attest to all of that. If you want to know the real Mayweather, that's him right there. Ham had my back in every single moment. And then as soon as practice was over, it was over. Those battles in practice prepared us mentally and physically to experience the success we had. I will forever cherish those memories. Thank you all so much, and cheers to the 2022 Hall of Fame class.
Pamela Neff Schreibman was a 4-year starter at midfield and forward under Chris D'Ambrosio with the women's soccer program. Pam played in 67 of a possible 72 matches in her career, including all 35 as a junior and senior. She started in 59 of those matches. A Thompson native, Pam was named second team All-Little East at forward as a junior when she led the team in goals and points, and first team All-Little East at midfield and Little East Player of the Year as a senior. Additionally, as a senior, Pam was named to the All-Region team and to the coach's All-New England team, as well as to the New England Senior Classic Showcase. During Pam's career, the Warriors were ranked among the top 10 in New England for a total of 22 weeks. In her junior year, Eastern was ranked as high as 7th in New England when it started the season with a 9-2 record. Pam graduated as the program's second all-time leading goal scorer with 26 goals, and today remains among the top 10 all-time in that category.
Hello, my name is Howard Neff, who watched with amazement as the growth, love, and accomplishments of this child became evident. Pam was very often behind the 8 ball as I started a soccer league in Thompson, which for many years had a large number of boys and few girls. No problem. Pam would just play with the boys. Not very easy for a smaller, less physical youngster, but she stayed focused. Behind the house, we built a backboard. Against that backboard, she would kick the ball and pound the ball until the neighbors would phone and call a truce. We would then juggle, or she would then juggle silently in what seemed like hours, determined to reach 1,000. By 14 years old, she easily reached her mark. I have to say she became a very beautiful soccer freak, and I'm saying that nicely. She was confident and truly a team player who played mostly in the midfield. When she began playing with and against girls, the game became very different. Much less physical, in particular, but no problem. She continued to work on getting better. Pam had very noticeably become the hardest working player I'd ever seen as a coach. It was not uncommon to be approached by an opposing coach after a game with a pat on the back and a word of, "You were the difference." She would never take that as anything other than a team compliment. Pam then tried out for the Connecticut State team at age 14, which was an unheard of thing to do coming from the quiet corner of Connecticut. Only one young lady from the area, Marie Spinelli, had ever thought about trying out for this level of play. Pam not only made the state team, but she went on to make the Region 1 team, which was comprised of 18 players from all of the 15 northeastern states. Wow. Pam also continued playing at this level for a number of years on teams in Connecticut and Massachusetts, until one day at a state team practice, she tore her Achilles tendon. That injury took more than a year to heal and changed her soccer life profoundly. Her career came slowly back. She resumed her career in soccer at Eastern. It was a perfect match. The coaching, the lifestyle, and the college support were all there in spades. She was so dedicated to the school and to the soccer program. Pam has gone on to a career as a producer at ESPN. She has often remarked how her college experience at Eastern, her soccer life, and her communication major has provided an unbelievable foundation for her life's success. Thank you, Eastern, for recognizing this very wonderful woman.
Coming from the area that we're in, the number of kids that I had that were super talented, Pam's probably one or two.
Seeing Pam as a high school player, you know, she was the most dangerous player on her team back then. So as a high school coach, I knew her already and knew, like, okay, this kid can play, and anytime we played them, we got to be, aware of where she is on the field.
Pam's demeanor on the field is much different than her passing her in the hallway. She's a quiet, soft-spoken person, very gentle in how she talks to people, very, very caring person.
So what comes to mind, Pam Neff is just a really good person, great teammate. She always had a great relationship with everyone on the team, the coaches, her teammates, really turned into a really good leader on our team.
She was really good at being that leader, that quiet leader, and kind of showing, how to work hard and what it took to be a good player.
But as she became a senior, she was a captain, and she became more of a vocal leader. She would, certainly set the standard in training as far as like work ethic and, what you're doing on and off the field.
Her technical ability with the ball, her ability to see the game, be able to distribute the ball, and also have the finishing touch to be able to blow that ball through the back of the net made her a phenomenal player.
Something about Pam. She made it look so easy. She was she could take on a player and beat him, and it was just with her finesse and her moves. And she had a rocket for a shot. I have never seen it. She could hit a 40-yard shot. Her corner kicks, she was the one always taking the corner kicks for us. She knew how to place it. So I think those things that really, grew her as a player and helped us win.
And then when she came into her senior year, she was our leading scorer. She had 13 or 14 goals in her senior year with 5 or 6 assists. And she was that go-to player still, and still helping other players on the field know where to move and thread the ball to them, put it on their foot, engage them in the game so that we were successful.
Her skills, her best attribute was probably playing center midfield and playing big ball. She could play a big ball in behind the defense and get our fast forward onto the ball, Julia Nielsen. She could switch the point of attack. She was a player that could play a ball 30 or 40 yards in the air and switch the point of attack, which is really big in the game of soccer to, really unbalance the other team's defense. That was her biggest thing as a player on the field, but her shot was really, really good.
Right off the bat, having that dynamic and being able to play with her well as her, feeding me the ball, she could she could get me a ball wherever I was. You know, she could kick that ball, 40 yards down the thing, hit me, and give me an easy opportunity to score a goal.
Pam was named Player of the Year her senior year in the Little East Conference, and a lot of that was what she had done previously as a goal scorer, going into her senior year, but I think she had a good reputation of just being a good player. She could be a playmaker, she could score goals, and at that time, the other teams in our conference, knew about her, like, hey, you got to be aware of her. She can score from anywhere on the field.
At this time, it gives me great pleasure to present for induction into the Eastern Connecticut State University Alumni Hall of Fame, Pamela J. Neff Schreidman.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Fame inductee Pamela Neff Schreibman and her presenter Howard Neff.
I'm sure you guys are hungry, so I'm going to try and stick to my 3 minutes, but be patient with me. Here we go. First of all, Julia is sitting over there at the table, and I just wanted to mention that when she was a freshman in her very first game with us, she scored 4 goals. So give her a round of applause. I'm honored and humbled to be part of this 2022 class today. Congratulations to all of you. What a magnificent accomplishment. These things don't happen unless you surround yourself with people who make you better in life. I have friends, family, teammates, and coaches here today. Thank you to all of you. You're the reason I'm here. Soccer was my avenue of learning, as you just heard. It taught me discipline, hard work, dedication, patience, leadership, what it meant to be part of a team, and that even if you're not gifted with specific talents at birth, if you're the hardest worker on the field, in the classroom, or at the office, it pays off. Growing up, the sport was everything to me. My dad, who you see, dedicated his life to raising us in a community of people who understood what drive and ambition meant to be successful. It also meant owning mistakes and learning from them. As he noted, I started out playing with boys. I have 2 older brothers. And playing against boys until I was 12 was no easy feat. I couldn't have been happier. The speed, the aggressiveness, the daily challenge, it was something pretty special. Fast forward to 13. I played for U.S. Soccer's ODP program. Chiro's here today. Coach Chiro, thanks for coming. I was then selected to play for the regional team of the New England region, which meant even more dedication and sustained focus on getting better every single day. When I arrived here at Eastern, it wasn't where I expected to be, let's be honest. I was coming off of a torn Achilles, and I was devastated. I remember Coach D and many of my teammates pulling me to the side. They encouraged me to just play, put all expectations aside. That was what I needed at a time when I was down. The support that ECSU, the support that I felt at ECSU as I entered my freshman year was a game changer for me. This community, these coaches, this team, my friends, Doc, where are you? You need to stand up. My joy for the game came back. It felt like I had never left the field. We had fun, we played hard, we supported one another. We were driven, sometimes to a fault, Julia. But we were a team for the 4 years that I played here. I'm grateful to all who believed in me when I questioned myself, both athletically and academically at times. We all face challenges. Mine were no different than what others face. But with the support of this family, these friends, this community, that drove me to always be my authentic self, there was no way I wasn't going to succeed here. Don't mind me, I spilled champagne on this before I got up here. I'm now an executive at ESPN. I look back at these learnings here at Eastern as I guide my own team and find ways for them to always be their authentic selves, to strive for success and support failure. At the end of the day, no, they don't, we're not that bad. At the end of the day, college is where many of us figure out who we are. You heard that from many others today. Eastern was my safe place to do just that. To my team who's here, I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize that this would not happen without every single one of you. This honor is yours as well as mine. It takes a team to accomplish what we did. We own this day together. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee and to Smitty and Bullet. Without you, this day would never have happened. I couldn't be more proud of being part of the Hall of Fame here at Eastern. Thank you.
What an incredible evening of celebration of Eastern athletics. Our Director of Athletics, Lori Runksmeyer, was unable to be with us tonight, but she sends along her congratulations to everyone. In closing, there are some people we need to thank, so please bear with me for a few minutes. The Eastern Sports Information Office would like to thank Lisa Hotaling from Media Services and her assistants for contributing countless hours arranging filming, producing, and editing the Hall of Fame induction videos that you watched this evening. Also, thanks to the presenters and guests who volunteered their time and expertise. Most of you who traveled to the Eastern Television Studio in the creation of these videos. Also, thank you to the Hall of Fame contributors by way of ads and donations. We couldn't do what we do without you. Thanks to all of our returning award recipients and members of the Hall of Fame. We hope you will continue to join us at future events. Thank you to Megan Carden, Ryan Rose, John Beck of Institutional Advancement for their help behind the scenes. Thank you to Kevin Paquin for his assistance with the plaques, programs, and the QR code. Thank you to Camille and the catering staff for their outstanding food and beverage service throughout tonight's event. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee members for their efforts throughout the year. Thank you to Lloyd Weir, Media Services, for his technical support. Thank you to Candace DeAngelis and the Student Center work staff for their assistance with tonight's event. Thank you to Julie, Kelsey, and Cole for their assistance at our check-in table and throughout this program. And special thanks to the Hall of Fame Mafia. You know who you are, and you are the best. Please be sure to join us next year for our 29th Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which will take place on Saturday, October 21st, 2023. You don't have to run out. There might be some dessert items left and some beverages still available. Congratulations again to all of tonight's honorees. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Please arrive home safely.